So the Times exclusive, hundreds of Russian Shadow Fleet vessels could now be seized by the UK. That is after the government found a legal basis to conduct raids on them. The Times understands that any sanctioned boats caught flying false flags could be targeted by large joint operations likely involving British forces and also NATO allies. The UK has sanctions against 520 vessels in relation to the Russian Shadow Fleet's shipping of oil across the globe. Let's speak to Emma Yeomans now, who has this story for the Times. So, Emma, it appears there is a legal mechanism in place that the British military could exert if they need to, if they decide to take more direct action against some of Russia's Shadow Fleet.
Yes, that's quite right. After the seizure of the Marinera tanker and a few other tankers by the US last week and over the past few weeks, there's been a lot of examination of what the legal basis for taking a tanker into custody, detaining it in this way might be. And we understand that the government now feels confident that it would have legal grounds to raid and detain and seize individual Russian oil tankers, Russian-linked oil tankers, I should say.
What are those legal grounds? Just explain what we're talking about here.
So the key thing here is that when a ship assumes the flag of a country, that gives it a level of protection under international law. That country should take responsibility, it should look after the vessel, and it gives it some protection. But what we understand is that quite a large proportion of the vessels we sanction are now considered stateless. That means they're flying false flags, they're flying flags without permission, or they're flying, in some cases we identified today, flags that actually don't exist. Governments are saying, this tanker should not have our flag on it. And when a vessel is stateless under the UN law of the sea, it is perfectly possible to seize that vessel in international waters.
How did you come across the story, Emma, and how soon could this come into play?
Well, it's been reported over the last 24 hours that the government felt that it was moving towards this legal position. And I and my colleague Charlie got that confirmed this morning. But what we really need to understand, and what I've been working on today, is understanding how many tankers this could affect. So you mentioned that we sanctioned 520 tankers. This is a huge range of vessels with like dozens of different countries linked to them. And so what we've been working on is establishing how many of those might be considered stateless. And we're able to reveal that about 107 are pretty much certainly stateless. And there could be dozens more, all of which would be, should they pass close to the UK, potential targets for seizure.
And that is key, isn't it, that these vessels need to pass close to the UK. We can't launch action in waters that are not close to us. And when we talk about the actual operation, would it be something similar to what we saw from the United States and the Marinera last week, or is that the highly dramatised version of it?
It depends who you ask, but I think it's likely we would see something fairly similar. What we were told earlier is that these operations are pretty complicated. You know, don't forget the US did actually, even with their resources, ask the UK for help with surveillance flights. So we would be looking at a fairly significant, complex operation, potentially working with NATO allies, working with other states, and multiple branches of the military involved, we understand.
Well, Emma, it's been great to speak to you. Your piece is an exclusive to The Times. It's up online now at thetimes.com and will feature in the paper tomorrow. Emma Yeomans is a news reporter for The Times. Thanks, Emma.